Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Old Style Outdoors. Wanted to pop on here today and have a little conversation about the rifle I've got on the bench. This is a Great Lakes Arms, or GL, I guess. These are made in Spartan, Michigan. First one of these I've had on the bench. A little bit of an oddity. This is, again, an AR10 platform, and this is chambered in the 300 Winchester Magnum, so just a little pop gun. Right smart of a rifle, actually, and pretty good rifle. I like how it's set up. I like the economics of it. Of course, just basically an AR, but it's pretty well made. The fit and finish is good. If I've got one major gripe on the rifle, it would be the trigger group. The trigger is absolutely horrendous. Probably a whopping 7.5 pounds, something like that, and pretty gritty, pretty rough. That's one thing that I don't understand about manufacturers. Sometimes you know, really nice rifle, really nice setup, particularly AR rifles, and then the trigger group will be trash. I don't know what the owner will want to do. I mean, it doesn't make it unshootable. You can still shoot it and do okay with it, but if it were me, I would spend $200 and put me about a 2.5 pound drop in it and roll. But that's to be seen what he wants to do. Wanted to touch on the optic. This is the Arken EP5, 5 of 25 by 56. If you don't know anything about Arken, they've been around now a few years. I'll say this: you can spend a whole lot more on a whole lot less. The glass in these are great. I've done several of these now in the last few years. I have no complaints whatsoever, and I mean, everything on them is made well. I mean, everything's audible, everything's tight. I've grid tested a couple of them, and they track, you know, perfectly. Great scopes for the money, and I guess the reason I'm trying to say that is I understand this is not a $3,000 night force, but for 90% of the shooters, they couldn't tell you the difference between this like $400 to $500 Arken versus a $3,000 night force. They wouldn't know. They wouldn't be able to determine what the differences are. So with that being said, these are great optics for the money. Now, of course, you probably want to put this on a lightweight hunting rifle setup because it is heavy. She's heavy. She's coming in about 30 some ounces probably. Of course, this is a 34 millimeter main tube, so big heavy scope, specifically designed for target. Not that you couldn't hunt with it, but I'm just saying you wouldn't want to pack it around, I can tell you that. And certainly with this rifle, it won't be made for that anyway. This will be made to lay down somewhere and get comfortable and shoot from a long way. So, as far as touching on the rifle, the customer brought me some Federal Fusion 180s. This rifle is recommended. The manufacturer recommends 180 or above grain weight projectiles, and that's of course for feeding purposes. Those Federal Fusion 180s did not cycle well in this rifle. They would stovepipe a few, or that's a secondary feeding thing. They couldn't hardly clear themselves sometimes. I think out of the 12 or 14 shots I made of those, I probably had 4 that did not cycle. They wouldn't clear themselves. I did go down to my local hardware / hunting store and pick these up. These are American Whitetail and 180 grain interlock. These do chronograph about 40 feet per second faster than those 180 Federal Fusion. And the Federal Fusion and these did shoot right at an inch. So one MOA group at 100, not bad at all. I don't know what the customer's going to do with the rifle. If it were mine, again, I don't know what he's going to do. So if it were me, I would probably even bump up to 190s or 200s and try to get, shoot some kind of a VLD style bullet to even maximize the rig even more, because this rifle's absolutely 1,000-yard. It can do that. Very capable of that. But these function good. So while I'm talking about the ammo, I'm gonna give a shout out to where these came from again. Our local hardware store here in Russell Springs, Kentucky, has a joint venture business in the same building, Higgs Outdoors. Give them guys a plug, a little shout out. Brandon and the guys, always great to work with. And in 2025, it's pretty awesome that you can go to one place still in rural America and buy parts for your toilet, or a chainsaw chain, some paint to paint your house with, and ammo. He's got it all. They've got fishing, hunting stuff, all kinds of firearms, great inventory. He can get you anything you need, and always willful to help. So shout out to those guys again at Higgs Outdoors, Henson Ace Hardware in Russell Springs. All right, I'm gonna jump back over here on the bench, and we're gonna dial up and shoot this rifle. I've got a piece of cement block down there. It's like a 4-inch piece, and I do have a 4-inch plate down there, but it's with the wind right now and it's howling. It's could be hard to hear the impact. So with the cement block, it'll, you know, the dust will boil if you hit it. So anyway, let me set the phone down here. My camera holder, y'all, is a roll of duct tape. So you just do what you got to do sometimes. My cameraman didn't hear, he's in school. Kellen would say, "Dad, what are you doing?" But anyway, all right, to the right of that big target you see in the center of your screen is a T-post, about 6 foot to the right of it. And that piece of cinder block or piece of cement block is sitting on top of that post. So about 6 foot to the right, probably, of the big target, and about 4 foot off the ground. Anyway, dial up to her here. 1, 2, 6. Let's see. There we go. All right, should see some dust bowl down there. The wind is crazy, y'all. I like to give a little wind. I mean, I'd say it's gusting 15 mile an hour, 10 to 15 anyway. All right. We are hot. Here we go. Yep. That'll work. Well, that was that. Put my camera back out of here. So, as you can see, that functioned rather well. So, anyway, this is again, this is the Great Lakes AR10 chambered in the good old 300 Winchester Magnum. Y'all, my camera work is not good, but the camera guy is not here. So, anyway, a nice rifle. Again, the one thing I would definitely do to it is I would have to sort something out with the trigger. It's really rough. You know, if it just had to be dropped down a pound or two, you know, I could do that, certainly, but I can't do 5 or 6 pounds. And I think that's, again, I think if I touched on this or not earlier in the video, but I think that's a common problem, or a common complaint, rather, I should say, with these rifles, is that the trigger's pretty rough. Anyway, just wanted to touch on it. Appreciate you all for tuning in. And if Kellen was here, he would tell you, so I will. Please like, share, subscribe, hit bell notifications, and enjoy your afternoon. We'll see you next time here on the Old Style Outdoors.